Hey guys, how you going? So I know on this channel I have said that I am Michael, an accountant from Australia, but it's kind of not true. So this week I am working from home. This is my working from home setup. As you can see, the desk is a complete mess. But working from home has one major benefit: lunchtimes. Generally, when you're working in the office, lunchtimes are great because you get to socialize with your colleagues. And I definitely miss that when I'm working from home. Last year, during the extended lockdown periods that we had, the biggest thing that I missed was the social aspect of working in the office. In my workplace, we even play darts at lunchtime, which is just a great way to blow off a bit of steam from looking at spreadsheets all morning. However, working from home means that you're on your own when it comes to lunchtimes, and that's perfect when you need to cram study. So I've been dedicating my lunchtimes this week to studying for my upcoming Chartered Accountants quiz. As you can see from my bookshelf here, this is my 4th CA subject, which means I've successfully passed 3 subjects, and I've got a little bit of experience in what it's like studying towards your Chartered Accountant diploma. My study techniques are quite unorthodox. In fact, you would probably liken it to someone of a university student, in that the last week is quite busy. Now, I definitely don't recommend that everyone cram study. However, I found that it works for me, and why fix something that's not broke? Lots of my colleagues at work who are also studying towards their current CA subjects do the work every single week, do all the readings, do all the activities. So in this video, I just want to share with you guys how I study, what you need to expect when you go to do your Chartered Accountants diploma. And I know the CA curriculum is currently changing. I am just going to be finishing up the old curriculum as I'm already underway and nearly finished. So like I said, I'm currently studying Management Accounting and Applied Finance. So it's my 4th subject and I'm really enjoying this one so far. And I just want to give you a couple of tips so you know what to expect when it comes to starting your CA diploma. Now, for every subject that you do, CA sends you a massive candidate study guide, which in some cases can be like a 900-page textbook. I know tax was about 900, financial accounting and reporting was about 600, audit was a bit smaller, 300. I think management looks like it's about 500 or 600 as well. But I don't really enjoy reading paper textbooks, and this is my number 1 tip for you. Once you've logged into Blackboard, you can actually go to Learning Materials, and the CA provides you with a PDF copy of the Candidate Study Guide. This here is 414 pages, which is the exact same as the management textbook. Having a PDF copy of the textbook is super helpful because it allows me to just quickly skim through all the sections that I need without having to flip through a massive binder. And also because our exams have been changed to be completely online because of the COVID-19 outbreak, it's really easy to use a PDF in the exam. You can just Command F and search for keywords, and it will search through the whole candidate study guide, the whole textbook, to find the point that you're looking for. So if you're completely lost, having a PDF copy and having the find function is a massive help. So I just wanted to share with you how I've been studying for the last 18 months and how I've passed every single quiz and exam that we've had. I don't mean to use this video as a brag or anything along those lines, but just to share my experiences, what it's been like to study with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. So for the current curriculum, every subject has 3 online multiple choice quizzes and a final exam. The final exam has been 3.5 hours and has been completely online, which is great because it means you get to type out all of your answers, which for me would be a lot faster typing rather than writing in person. My understanding is that these exams in the past have been in person, and you'd have to go to somewhere in the city to sit and take this exam with pen and paper. However, my first subject was Term 1 2020, which was when the COVID-19 lockdowns had just started. So CA moved all of their in-person exams to online. They did have a couple of technical difficulties online, and I was logged out for my exam for about 10 minutes. But since then, I think they fixed all their problems, and I've not had an issue since. This here is a printout of the suggested module plan, which I took straight from the textbook. You can see here that there are the 3 online assessment multiple choice quizzes to take throughout the term, and at the end there's a final exam. And so I just keep this on my wall so that I know which week we're up to and which topic I should have been covering if I were actually studying this week. And because these online quizzes are all multiple choice, I choose not to do too much in-depth study during the term. And instead, I'll just do a quick, brief reading of each topic before I go into the quiz so I know where to look when I get stumped on a question. How the marking works at the moment with the current curriculum is that 20% of your mark comes from the multiple choice online quizzes throughout the term, and that the 80% mark comes from your final exam. The final exam is also a hurdle, meaning that you have to pass the final exam as well as passing the subject overall. So if you do the quick maths on that, you only technically need to get 10 out of 20 for these online multiple choice quizzes, if you just want to pass. If you want to get a merit, you probably should be putting in a bit more work to make sure you get every single question right in the multiple choice to give yourself the best chance when it comes to the final exam. However, if your goal is to pass, make sure you're getting 10 out of 20 marks from the multiple choice quizzes throughout the term. Then once you get your 10 out of 20 from the multiple choice quizzes, you just need to pass the final exam. Then you can put all your eggs into that basket and study exam type questions. That's what I'm doing when I read the textbook towards the end of the term. I'm thinking, what kind of questions will they ask and how is this content related to those sorts of questions? Which is when the activities are handy to see what kind of questions they are likely to ask. However, in my experience, I haven't found that any of the exam questions are very, very similar to the activities throughout, except for maybe tax, where you have to do tax reconciliation. So what I've been doing is making sure I get 10 out of 20 for the multiple choice quizzes and then going hard for the final exam. What I want to do is make sure I've read the entire CSG before I go to study for the final exam. And when I study for the final exam, I'll go back throughout the textbook, revise any subjects I'm not too familiar with or can't really remember too well, and I'll also do 2 practice exams. CA are really good in that they give you historical papers. They also give you the solutions to these papers in case you got questions wrong. And that way you can see where you went wrong and how you can do better for next time. I only like to do the 2 most recent papers as they're the most relevant and legislation and best practices change all the time. So if you want to pass all of your chartered accountant exams, here is what I suggest to you. Make sure you've read the entire CSG when it comes time to studying for the final exam. Do at least 2 practices before the final exam so you have an expectation of how long each question should take and what kind of questions to expect. Now, this tip might not be evergreen, but I'd also recommend getting used to the software that you're going to have to use in the exams. This might mean that you have to sit one of the practice papers using a similar or the same software that CA have said will be used in the final exam. I think that wraps up the video. My final management online quiz is this weekend, so that's what I've been studying for this week. If you guys have any questions about the Chartered Accountants program, please drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I upload videos like this every single week on personal finances, including investments and tax. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching.